Alabama gets set to take on Georgia. We're going to talk about that with our friend Jake from Crain and Co. Guys, I want to remind you our show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi, the Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. Or maybe you want to go to the Timeout Sports Lounge. And if you would have taken my advice and bet Bama to cover against Auburn, you'd have won. They have the Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sportsbook right there at Golden Moon Casino. 20 big screen TVs, full-size bar. You got the window. You got individual kiosks, all that stuff. Hour and a half from Birmingham, from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. Well, it's great to see you again. I know that the Iron Bowl didn't go the way that you probably wanted it to, but you get a look at now this Alabama team. You saw Georgia as well. You cover these guys all the time. What do you think of this matchup?
Well, somebody had picked Alabama to win the national championship before the season. Obviously,
I love when you say
that. I get, Auburn doesn't send me any money, so I would like to be right. And then also, in a weird way, and God, I hate to say this, and it feels like it's like the third time this has happened. If Auburn beats Alabama in that game, I think they probably keep DJ Durkin, which I think in the long term would have been a mistake as head coach. Obviously, keeping him as DC, I think for continuity's sake, and Golish coming in, I think he's got a better chance. I mean, who the hell knows nowadays? I watched Brian Kelly, who's won more games than anybody, go to LSU and fail, and I watched Kurt Cignetti come out of nowhere and turn Indiana into a powerhouse. So
it's crazy.
It's. I mean, nowadays the sport is so different. What's interesting to me when I look at Alabama and Georgia, and I actually think, in a lot of ways, especially when you look at the quarterback position, there's some similarities. I think you're starting to see Ty be a little bit more involved in the run game, which, means he's keeping a couple more zone reads. Now, look, every time you see him with that inside handoff, sometimes there is no keep. He's a decoy. He's trying to keep that backside in place. It truly is an inside zone or even outside zone run play, depending on where the running back's track is. But Alabama's lack of run game, if you go back, and again, this is why stats only tell the trailer to the movie. They don't tell the whole movie. If you would have just looked at the numbers in that first Alabama and Georgia game, you would have looked at Georgia's rushing stats, and you would have looked at Alabama's rushing stats, and you'd be like, well, there's no way that Alabama won this game.
Right.
But then you look at the third down conversions, and it is just so backwards on what you would think when you looked at those numbers. Bama went 13 of 19 on third down. Third down's like shooting three-pointers in basketball. Man, if you can convert 50% of them, you should be all right. You start converting 60 and 70%, well, now you're running people out of the gym. And Alabama fans should know that, really well with the way Nate Oates' teams play. So it was kind of backwards a little bit last time, but I'll just always will say it'll come down to the line of scrimmage. Georgia's great at stopping the run. They're not great at rushing the passer, but man, LT Overton being out, that one kind of caught me a little bit on the injury report. That's a big deal. So, man, I think there's some similarities. I don't think either one of these teams is elite or as elite as they've been in the past, but they've still got NFL players running around all over the field. At some point, though, Ryan Williams is going to have to do something. He's going to have to do something. But just like Noah Thomas for Georgia, right? It can't all just be Jeremy Bernard. It can't all just be Zachariah Branch. So there are some similarities which, again, make this matchup even more interesting.
Yeah, both teams are banged up. I mean, like the SEC needs to be more like the Big Ten, where you have about half of your games that are easy so that you don't just have basically a whole roster of players that are hurt, right? It's an NFL schedule now. I mean,
it's just tough because you don't know who's going to be good, right?
Right.
When you made the schedule, it kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit on who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. So in a perfect world, yeah, but now it's not going to get any better, brother. We're going to a 9-game conference schedule. It's going to do nothing but get worse. That's why if I'm and I know Greg Sankey has mandated the SEC has to play a Power 4 team in the non-con. Hey, Wake Forest, come on down.
Yeah, right.
Give me somebody at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not playing Notre Dame anymore. I'm not playing Ohio State anymore. If I'm the head coach, I'm not doing it. I'm just not.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, and that's one of the big topics right now too. Is if Bama loses to Georgia, are they not going to get in? They lost to Florida State, they lost to Oklahoma, but they have to get in, right?
There's no way. And look, again, I'll just tell you what I think. Nobody pays me individually, but I will take donations.
Me too.
I'll say this: if Alabama at 10-2, and again, I mean nobody. The Florida State loss isn't great, but there's worse ones out there by teams that are around Alabama. If Alabama doesn't get in at 10-2 because they lose the SEC championship, and you have teams that get in that don't even play in their conference championship that are 10-2, it's a travesty. Like it just throw the thing out. Like you truly, if that's the case, then the committee is telling everybody no more conference championship games. No more. No, I wouldn't play anymore. Like it would ruin it. I just don't see that happening. And look, Alabama's such a big brand. I know they picked SMU over them last year, but the circumstances were different. There's no way, man. There's absolutely no way.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, and it feels like everybody's kind of just decided that Alabama's going to lose. And I mean, like beating Georgia twice would be enormous. I mean, look, they lost to Auburn one year, came back and beat them. They lost to Alabama one year, played them a second time and beat them. But then I look at Caleb DeBoer and I'm like, hey, wait a second now. When he was at Washington, they beat Oregon twice, and that was a really good Oregon team. And then you look at his record against top 10 teams and top 25 teams. He's really good.
Yeah.
But both teams are so banged up. Like their offensive line's riddled. Bama's got a bunch of guys out too.
Yeah, again, it's that time of year. That's why we always talk about depth and balance is what keeps you on the beam. The teams that win the most, the longest, have the most depth, and that's in any sport. And everybody listening to this knows that's why one of the most underrated things in our sport that nobody talks about. And in fairness, unless you've really coached or played somewhat at a high level, you really don't think about it, and you shouldn't think about it. It's roster management. Like that just does not get to – and I'm not talking about recruiting. Everybody keeps up with recruiting, whether it's high school or the transfer portal. But how do you manage your roster? Nick Saban, one of his best skills, and he had a lot of them, but one of his most elite skills was roster management. Yeah. He would never – and I want Alabama fans to really feel me on this and think and go back. He would never lose too much at two positions that were symbiotic to each other. What do I mean by that? He would never lose a ton of offensive linemen and a quarterback in a class. It's just the ones that go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. Like the ones that affect the other. I thought he did such a great job of staying, even with the changing of college football. And I think this is one of the main reasons he got out. It's because you cannot manipulate the roster the way you used to be able to, because now there's no penalty for transferring. You have no leverage with these guys. Not that a lot of guys wanted to leave Saban, but money talks. As dominant as Saban was, money's going to talk more. So I think, when you look at depth, even though these teams are beat up, find me two rosters that are more equipped to handle injuries than Alabama or Georgia, and that's the difference. So, yeah, there should be some concern there. You should be worried about Jam. Apparently, the run game's just tagged with Jam Miller. Wherever he goes, like that's where it's going to go. But at the end of the day, I think LT Overton is huge. He's such a difference maker, right? I know. And Georgia had so much success on the ground, even with him in the first time you played. That one hurts. That one hurts.
Yeah, I mean, like think about it. Tim Keenan being out against Florida State, hurt Alabama. But some guys have emerged, Jan Zapier is one of those guys. We wouldn't have seen him if it wasn't for injury, right?
Well,
Clay Rusall,
and again,
going
that's
out,
how you create
spots.
depth, right?
Yeah, right.
That's how you create depth. That's, again, and that's why being able to, have games where you put guys in meaningful reps. Like, you got to have the balls to do it. Like, it's not just going out there against Mercer or Eastern Illinois. Yeah, you'd expect that. It's, hey, in this big moment, you look at Pierre, you look at some other guys that have come in, and what the confidence that gives not only the coach but the player. Like, okay, now I can do this. It changes you, it evolves you. And look, I think Alabama and Georgia are two of the best teams in position to be able to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that QR code and join our Web3 home, AveD, Mick Nation. We do prizes each week. We got swag that we give away. We also pick games. It's all free. It's fun. And eventually we'll build a whole universe at our Web3 destination. So make sure that you're a part of that. Hit that QR code. And we appreciate you doing that. Get in the comments section. Always great to talk to Jake. One of the best shows out there that does college football. These guys coached. They know the game really well, played. And I enjoy just having the opportunity to talk to you. What do you think that this matchup means to the SEC? I mean, here we got Georgia again, Kirby Smart. We got Alabama. You look at the winners of this game, right? Like one year LSU won. Every other year it's been Georgia and Alabama.
Well, it's again, if you're looking at it from Greg Sankey's point of view, to me, I feel like, Greg thinks that Alabama's in, but probably the best case scenario would be Alabama beating Georgia, because that would guarantee that Alabama would be in. And also, you would probably, if Alabama didn't make the top four, you'd probably have two SEC teams with home games. You'd probably get Alabama and Georgia, because if you look at the playoff rankings, which typically was never prepared for the midterm, but I got it pulled up right here. You know, if Alabama beats Georgia, you know, Texas Tech handles business, they'll move up. One or Indiana or Ohio State have to lose, but I don't think either one of them would drop out of the top four. So if Georgia were to lose, Texas Tech would move up, Oregon would move up, Ole Miss would move up, A&M would move up, Oklahoma would move up. Think about that. Like, legitimately, we could have a situation where you have the number 5, 6, 7, 8, not all SEC. So you would get what? That'd be 2, 3 SEC home games. Now you wouldn't get a bye, and that would, would that kind of put a little chink in your armor, I guess. But I promise you that there'd be a couple mayors of college towns that would be pretty fired up for that one, brother. So I think the SEC would like Alabama to win this game, actually. But again, they're also sitting here, rooting for probably BYU to lose, right? To see if maybe Texas or Vandy would have a shot. It would be interesting to see. So I think they would want Alabama to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just talked about it. I think, for me personally, I love Diego Pavia. I'd love to see him get in this game or in this playoff, right? Texas beat him. The argument's going to be, hey, we didn't have to play Ohio State. And we kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the show, is the committee seems to still not care about the quality of opponents that you play, but the fact that you won or lost. If they don't pay attention to this and reward teams for playing tough schedules, we're not going to have these games, because everybody booked them thinking that they would, and they just haven't. I mean, look at Notre Dame. Who have they beaten this year?
Yeah. No, it's so different when you look at it through the eyes of the head coach, right, at the place, when you look at it through the eyes of the commissioner of the conference, and then when you look at it through the eyes of the people on the committee, which the people we have on the committee, it's amazing to me in college football how some of the people we put on TV that know nothing about college football and have these jobs.
So true.
I don't get it. And then the people we put in charge of making the biggest decision, who gets in the postseason. I can just look at them and tell you, nope, not a ball. No. Hunter Yurachek is the leader of that committee. Hunter Yurachek, Arkansas fans wish he'd never come back. They want him to just stay. We have, it's like that part on is it Not Another Scary Movie, where they're making fun of the Village, the M. Night Shyamalan movie? And they're like, hey, that one guy, he escapes and stabs somebody, and they're like, who let him out? And they're like, it's his brother, the sheriff. Like, that's Hunter Yurachek. Like, he's pointing to his little badge. That's Hunter Yurachek. Like, I swear, people that are my age are going to understand that reference and totally get it. Yeah. But why would you, if I was a head coach and going to a 9-game in-conference schedule, dog, we'll play Eastern Illinois 3 times. We'll play Mercer 3 times. I don't care. I'm not doing this. Yeah. I'm not doing this. I will start out 3-0. I'll start out 3-0.
You have
every single
right?
season.
Yeah.
Every single season. So it's to the point now where But the commissioner's got to look at that and say, how's that going to affect the TV contract? Because you're not going to have as many eyeballs as if you play these other big games. Yep. But the schools get money for making the postseason, right? The conference gets money for schools making the postseason, but also get TV money, and that filters down to the schools. Yep. So it's a very interesting dichotomy between if you're the school, you just want to win games and realize, hey, man, if I schedule 3 cupcakes and we go 7-2 in conference, we're in pretty much. Yeah. Like at 10-2, why would we risk doing anything crazy? It's an interesting dilemma. And now Sankey has mandated that SEC teams have to play a Power 4 conference team. Like I said earlier, okay, that's great. Let me go. Oh, Boston College. Perfect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like Bama they just punted on UCF. They picked up Chattanooga. It's like,
oh yeah, no.
Okay.
Again, go.
Great idea.
See ya. That's fine. Please bring in some blind kids. We'll play them. I don't care. We'll play the neighborhood kids from across the stadium.
All right, I got to ask you. Well, first off, let me remind you guys that if you're looking for something to do in between Christmas and New Year's, Pearl River's got Twisted Sisters, D. Snyder, Lita Ford, and Firehouse. That's December 27th, 8 o'clock, Choctaw, Mississippi. Tickets available at the center stage at Silver Star. All right, I got to ask you a couple questions. And the first one I want to know is, I'm going to get your take on the Auburn hire last. Let's just start with Lane Kiffin. This whole Lane Kiffin thing. You're a guy, you understand the coaching game. Would you have ever walked away from a team that was going into the college football playoff?
Man, to me, it's a complex situation because of the calendar, but two things can be true at once. And I've always said this. I think as a society, a lot of times we think it's just black and white. It's one thing or the other. So on one hand, the calendar sucks in college football. Like it's terrible. Like it puts coaches in a really bad spot. Like, and people will say, oh, well, look at the way John Summerall's doing it and the way that Eric Morris is doing it. They're still coaching at their place. Yeah, they're not in the same conference. Like John Summerall isn't leaving Tulane to go to Memphis. Like it's a lot different when you're going intra-conference as opposed to group of 5 to group of 6 to Power 5, whatever the hell it is now. Like it's a big difference, right? It's nobody is blaming, or I don't see any Tulane fans that are like, John Summerall's an idiot for going to Florida. Like people are like, Lane Kiffin's going from Ole Miss to LSU, which I think, and I'm sure a lot of y'all out there agree, LSU is still a better job than Ole Miss, not by what it used to be, not by that margin, but it's still a better job. But the way we do the calendar, it forces you into a bad situation. Now, on the other hand, Lane Kiffin did not handle this well early. The trolling on social media, this, that, and the other. You know, apparently he said he had to pray about it, and God told him that Ole Miss sucks, leave. Like, it's just... It's crazy to me that you would troll about something that early knowing you were serious about it.
Right.
And that's so disrespectful to everything associated with Ole Miss. And then he all of a sudden got real serious at the end. You saw that. So your reputation is going to precede you. We know the way that Lane has left other places. So, yeah, the calendar's tough, but Lane could have handled this better and more professionally. Now, as far as letting you stay and coach, if you're going to the NFL,
stay around. Yeah,
stick around. Yeah, of course. But no, that'd be like me finding out today my wife was cheating on me, but she wants to stay in the house through Christmas. Man, hell no. You gotta get out of here. Like that shows so much weakness. So it's a tough spot. Could have been handled better, but at the end of the day, I think Lane made the right decision, man. I would have gone to LSU, but again, how do you go about doing that with your team? How do you walk away from your team? That's the part I can't figure out in my mind. Because if you'd have told me, no, we're not letting you stay and coach, there'd have been a part of me that'd be like, all right, I'll just stay here then. I'll just stay here. But Lane made his choice, and it's just the calendars. You shouldn't be in that position.
Yeah, right. I got it. Yeah. So the Iron Bowl, another great game down on the plains, right? We loved it.
Great for y'all.
Big fourth down pass. 6 straight. I was in school when we lost 6 straight. So, I mean, at least for part of that,
No, look, I'll always have that. I mean, look at God. Thank God for basketball, right?
we're actually good at that too.
Yeah, but it's it goes back and forth, right? Like we typically split. Last year was weird in basketball. We won at y'all's place, y'all won at ours, but it's just
great rivalry too, man. I love that Bruce Pearl made Bama a basketball state. He really did. And
for sure.
Bruce Pearl's the one Auburn coach everybody seems to really like. And I know he's not there anymore.
Well, I like Nate. Like Mick, I like Nate. Like I really do like Nate. I think Nate is actually an up-tempo offensive football coach in a basketball coach's body.
I see that.
If Nate Oates just like there was a point when Auburn was before they hired Freeze where my brother wanted Auburn football to hire Nate Oates. Hire him. Let's go see if he'll do it.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He just manages people.
Yeah.
So DJ Durkin, I know him from his Maryland days. I think he's a really good coach. And he didn't get the job. A lot of people thought he was. They get Alex Golish, who was the Tennessee offensive coordinator, obviously was at UCF. So what do you think? Just the way that it all played out as someone that is invested at Auburn.
Well, it was Durkin up until 1 a.m. on Sunday. If you actually go and watch,
really?
Go and watch Alex Golish's speech to the team at Auburn when he got there. He said, "Guys, we just played yesterday like y'all did. I got a call at 1 a.m. this morning from John Cohen asking if I want to be the Auburn head coach, and I said yes, and now I'm here." Auburn, nobody can keep a secret anymore. Like, this would have leaked. If Golish was the guy for a while, it would have leaked. Here's what happened. You had John Summerall 2 weeks ago lined up, ready to take it. John went to Grissom High School in Huntsville. His wife graduated from Auburn. He wanted the Auburn job. When it came down to keeping DJ Durkin, John Cohen told him, hey, you interview him, you decide, we would love if you kept him. Well, about a week after that, it gets leaked out of Auburn's building because, again, nobody can keep a secret that Cohen is actually working with Durkin on an extension and a contract for him to stick around whoever the next head coach is. Well, this leaks to John Summerall and his agent. So Summerall calls Cohen and is like, dude, what is going on? You told me I could interview him and decide, and is this true? And Cohen said, well, yeah, this is true, but this, that, and the other. So Summerall was like, you know what? I'm taking my name out of it. And because remember, Summerall canceled an interview with Florida.
Yeah.
Remember, he canceled that interview because he was going to Auburn.
Wow.
So he calls Florida back. Then all of a sudden, you start seeing all this pop up. John Summerall's to Florida. John Summerall's interest in Florida. John Summerall and Auburn are kind of parting ways. And at that point, after, the day of the Iron Bowl, Auburn makes an announcement that they're going to name their coach on Sunday at 10 a.m. Well, Summerall is already taken apart. And so you're like, all right. And I had a source that let me know that it's going to be Durkin at 10 a.m. And I don't know what, I put some stuff out on social media and some other people did, and it got a lot of backlash about people not wanting Durkin. And then all of a sudden, John Cohen calls Alex Golish, who was going to Arkansas. At 1 a.m. in the morning. Golish goes, I'll go to Auburn. He calls Hunter Yurachek at Arkansas and says, hey, man, sorry, I'm going to Auburn. And then just magically 6 hours later, Ryan Silverfield's the Arkansas head coach. Nice. So this happened at 1 a.m. on Sunday. Like, dog, it's and I think it's a good thing because of the personality. Like, it's the culture at Auburn from the top. And you're watching Hugh Freeze, who, look, you can talk about his past, this, that, or the other. The interactions I've had with Hugh, he's been nothing but a really good guy. So I take people at how they treat me and how I see them treat others. So you're seeing Hugh talk about, well, we were so close and we didn't have this happen in the refs and, the archaeological digs and the cosmetology signs just didn't line up and whatever. And Golish didn't like that. It's like, look, you either win the game or you lose the game. And I think he's got that killer in him. And Auburn just hasn't had that. Brian Harsin pretended to have it, but all he wanted to do was lift weights and talk about accountability. Hugh Freeze was playing switchfoot before games. I mean, I know we were meant to live for so much more, but can we please put on a different song before I go run into another 300-pound human being 75 times on TV? But Golish, he's going to recruit from the front, which is what you need, which is what Kirby does, which is what Nick did, which is, Kalen does it his own way. But Auburn needs that grit, right? That edge that they used to have, and they don't have it anymore. So I do think, and again, we'll see. Who the hell knows? Like I said earlier, I watched Brian Kelly go down in flames, and he's won more games than just about anybody.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is the attitude, and then keeping Durkin, I think, was smart from a continuity standpoint, from a retention standpoint as well. So at this point, I think it's the first Hail Mary Auburn's caught since 2013.
Hey, Jake, great to talk to you, man. Tell everybody how they can catch your show, and again, always great to hang out.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you having me. Good luck to you guys on Saturday in the 73rd edition of the Georgia-Alabama SEC. We ought to just play this game week 1 and get it out of the way. But yeah, you can go to YouTube. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That could take the place of the non-con. There's your 9th right there. You go to Crain and Company on YouTube. It's CRAIN and Company. We're easy to find. But no, I appreciate you having me, man. And yeah, it's going to be a fun week. And what a great time on the sports calendar.
I know, man.
An amazing time on the sports calendar. So hope Santa Claus treats everybody well, too.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you. And check those guys out. And don't forget, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Here's their spokesman, our guy, Jake Cook.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.